The most requested topic I received from y'all by far was brush care. So, time for another fun size art lesson. Even though most brushes are synthetic now as opposed to various types of animal hair, they're still designed to mimic real hair. So, take care of them the same way you would real hair. Wash and condition them, and they'll do beautiful things for you.
First, store your brushes dry and upright. This will keep your brush heads from getting smushed in weird positions. I keep a Lazy Susan on my desk for organizing my brushes, palette knives, and other frequently used tools. You'll notice that one jar is labeled watercolor brushes. That is because those brushes are only for water-soluble paint mediums like watercolor and gouache. The solvents used in oil paints are really hard on brushes, and watercolor brushes are just not made to stand up to that. Keeping them distinctly separate keeps me from mistakenly destroying them. The rest of my brushes are for oils, so I keep them stored by size so I can easily find the brush I need. As you are painting, the next favor you can do your brushes is to never leave them submerged in water or solvents. I constantly change my brush size or shape I'm working with. It's tempting to just drop your brushes in your solvent container and let it sit so it doesn't dry out, but this does almost as much damage as drying. You wouldn't want to stand on your head all day, and your brush doesn't want to either. Let them stand up and it will prevent major bedhead. If your brush stands on its head, it will bend the bristles of your brush, as well as damage the ferrule. That's the metal part of your brush that clamps the brushes in place. If your brush sits for too long, the wood handles will also absorb the water or solvent and start to split, or the ferrule can start to separate from the brush handle. When painting with watercolor or gouache, I really like this water bucket. I use one side to rinse my brush and the other side to dip in when I just need to add more water. The handle has little grooves where I can set my brushes while I'm using another one. Oil brushes generally need a little more scrubbing to get the oil out of the bristles. This solvent bucket has a great wide metal screen at the bottom, which fits all of my brush sizes. I gently swish the brush across a few times and it helps to pull the paint from the bristles. If I don't want to immediately rinse oil from a brush, I love this little ceramic brush holder. It sits inside my palette and I let my brushes rest there until I come back to that color. It keeps the brush from over-soaking or rolling away. Most days, I just rinse my brushes really well. Water for watercolor or gouache brushes, and mineral spirits for oil brushes. However, every few painting sessions, I give them a good wash. I've tried pretty much every brush cleaner there is over the years. Seriously, all of them. But the only one that I continue to buy is this Master's brush cleaner. Just add a little water and swirl your brush around in it. Let it build up a good lather and then work the soap into the brushes. Once you feel like you have all of the paint out, rinse clean with water. Sometimes I need a little extra scrubbing power if I have some stuck paint. A toothbrush is handy for loosening this paint from the bristles without damage. Only brush out from the handle in the direction of the brush hairs. Sometimes I have some particularly stubborn paint. Blue Dawn has been the gold standard soap for removing oil from wildlife after oil spills. It breaks down the oil so it can be washed away, but is also safe to use. It's great for oil brushes too. I gently work the Dawn into the bristles and rinse. Repeat until your water runs clear. Now some brushes are just stained. I've only used this brush twice and I cleaned it immediately afterwards. But some pigments just have a strong staining power and you'll do more damage to the brush than it's worth if you try to strip the pigment out. We're just going to let this brush have blue hair. Mine's purple. It's okay. Now that the brushes are all clean, time to condition and reshape them. A lot of people will skip this step, but your brushes will last you many more paintings if you give them one extra minute. For watercolor brushes, this brush shaper by Speedball is a good product. Shake it up really well, dip your brush into it, and wipe the excess off on the side. Use your fingers to shape the brush back to its original shape. Oil brushes are generally made from a more coarse type of bristle and need something a little thicker to moisturize and hold the bristles in place for reshaping. My favorite product for this task is just plain hair conditioner. It's nothing special either, just a little hotel bottle that I keep on my desk just for this. I pour a little bit onto some palette paper, dip the brushes in, and reshape like the others. Now that your brushes are all clean and reshaped, it's best to let them dry hanging upside down or flat. This prevents any remaining water from soaking down into the ferrule or handle, which could damage the wood or loosen the glue. Once dry, you can pop them back in your storage container upright. 5 extra minutes of brush care now and then will save you a lot of frustration with warped or frayed brushes, as well as a small fortune in brush replacement.
I'll have a new video coming soon on what to do with severely damaged or dead brushes. If stuff like this is helpful, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. Let me know what other studio struggles you're having. Leave them in the comments. Let me know what I can help you with. Have a great weekend. Happy painting.